libertarians floating through Polk County as we speak, so won't be a whole lot of those. A couple things that I've neglected to talk to, or to remind you about in previous trainings was if we've forgotten to put our initials on the ballot, we need to make sure that we do so. I've neglected to tell you that in previous trainings and kind of bit me in the rear in March. So if we put a ballot in the machine without the initials, does the ballot count? Of course it does. We want to make sure that we put our initials on there. Whoever's handing the ballots out to the voters just slaps their initials right there. And you can pre-initial these. You can pre-initial 10, 15, 20 at a time. Kind of save you some time as you're going through the day. And if you haven't already, and if you've forgotten to do this too, if you've neglected to use your secrecy envelopes, the envelopes that you put the ballot in and hand to the voter, we need to get back to doing that too as well. That is something that I neglected to mention in previous trainings, and guess what? That kind of bit me in the rear too in March. So we need to make sure those two silly things we need to make sure that we continue to do in June. Okay? All this will be in your voting machine waiting for you. It took me 3 minutes to explain it to you. It will take you about a minute to get your ballot box keys, take everything out, set it off to the side, and close it back up. Take everything out. Everything out so it's empty, close it back up, and that step is done. And then it says to unlock door B, remove our extension cord. Door B is in the front of our voting booth, our voting machine. It's marked door B, and we have our extension cord in here. And according to our instructions, we're going to plug in the machine using the extension cord. So we'll plug our extension cord into our surge protector. All the machines are already plugged into the back of the surge protector. We're simply going to plug this into the wall. That gets both of these machines turned on. Okay, that is all we do is take out the extension cord, plug it into our surge protector, and plug it into the wall. And that turns it on. And if you read your instructions, it will tell you it will take up to 3 minutes to power on. It's like your laptop computer at home or your PC computer at work or at your desk at home. It takes 3 minutes to fire up. Okay, so it takes some time. And then your instructions say to read the touch screen. The touch screen is on your voting machine. This is your voting machine right here. This is the machine that tabulates the ballots. This is your touch screen right here. And when the machines turn on, 3 minutes later, this screen is going to pop up right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this screen pops up right here. Okay, and it's going to have your precinct number. It'll have the name of the election and the date, and your precinct number. So it might say West Des Moines 113. It might say West Des Moines 115. It might say Allen 1. If you are a precinct that has if you're a polling place that has multiple precincts will be on here. So it might say West Des Moines 314, West Des Moines 315, Allen 1, Des Moines 72, West Des Moines 114, 116, 211, 212, so on and so forth. But this will all be pre-initialized, ready to go for you. Our instructions tell us to what? Press the done button, right? Is that what our instructions say to do?
Yes.
Press the done button. Even though it says to add a precinct insert ballot, that's not what our instructions tell us to do. Our instructions on our green sheet say to press the done button. So when we press the done button, this screen right here comes on automatically. And it doesn't fail. I don't care what election we're having. I get at least one precinct captain who will call me and say, they will say, I don't know what's going on. My machine is telling me to insert a paper ballot. Well, it is telling you to insert a paper ballot, but it's telling voter number 1 to insert the paper ballot. So when you press done on your instruction sheet, this screen pops up. This screen is telling you this machine is ready to go. This little blurb in red won't be on your screen on election day. I threw this up here to let you know that the first ballot that goes into the machine is by voter number 1. So all we have to do is just press done on this machine and we're ready to go. And that gets this thing going. Simple as that, right? That is step number 1, voting machine tasks. Now we have step number 2, our ADA device or our handicap machine, which is located on the opposite side of our voting machine in the little pull out here. It looks exactly like this. When you turn your machine on, 3 minutes later, this screen comes up. And our instructions on number 2 say to what?
Continue.
Press the continue button. And that's where you find the continue button on that machine. That's all you do is you press continue. When you press continue, this keypad pops up. That's it. That's your indication that this machine is ready to go. So just real quickly, steps 1 and 2. Plug in the machine, right? Get out your extension cord, plug it in, wait 3 minutes, press done over here, press continue over here. Following steps 1 and 2. So far so good? Now we have step number 3. We have some administrative tasks. We need to do some things administratively to get our precinct going by 7 a.m. And it involves our tally book. Wherever you find our tally book, it'll be in your brown bag, in your pocket, and the tally book will be right in here. It'll say tally book on here. Our instructions tell us to sign and place the zero tapes of the ADA machine and voting machine in the sleeve on page 1. Here's page 1 of your tally book. Here's that sleeve I'm talking about. This is what your zero tape will look like on your ADA device. It's this size right here. It'll have some machine information on here, and then I'll have zeros on here in a place for you to sign. Everyone's going to sign this, and they're going to put it in the front page of our tally book. This is the zero tape of our voting machine. It'll be a little bit longer than this, because it's a primary election. We had quite a few races on there, correct? It will say zeros. It'll have your precinct number on there, and there'll be a spot for everybody to sign at the bottom. All we need to do is have everybody sign it, put it into page 1 of our tally book. Right? Like we've always done. And then we have, just following our instructions, it says to record the voting machine number on page 6. So when you go to page 6 of your tally book, we got to find our voting machine number. It's all voting machine numbers are located right here in this corner on every machine. It's either going to be a 2-digit or a 3-digit number. I don't know which one you're going to have. Whatever number you get is what you put on page 6, right where the highlighted area where it says ballot reader number. Everything else, my team and myself have filled out for you. Date of the election, precinct, so on and so forth. You will notice some highlights here. That's indicating to you that we need signatures from your team. You know, as you flip through here, some of this stuff is no longer necessary, but you'll see information that it requires a signature or printing your name. The last step that it asks you to do is it asks you to sign the inside page of the tally book and record the number of ballots provided. On the inside cover of the tally book, right here, is a place where you need to insert the number of ballots in your machine that we have waiting for you. We will do that for you. So the number of ballots in your machine waiting for you, that number will be recorded right here. We'll take care of that for you. All you need to do is make sure everything is signed. And ladies and gentlemen, that is 6 a.m. This sheet right here. At any point in time, if you have an issue with one of these 3 steps, you call this number down at the bottom, and we will help you out. But you don't need to look around for any other sheet. You go right to the side of your voting machine, pull this green side out, and you follow it right down to the very bottom. Cell phones, we communicate by cell phone now. Some cell phones I give to you, some we use your own. I just want to make sure that you have your cell phone turned on and that the volume's up high and you bring your charger. I say that tongue-in-cheek because my wife is a precinct captain, and I love her to death, but she's notorious for having her phone on vibrate or silent. It drives me bananas. So I'll need to remind her when I leave the house at 4 a.m. on June 5th to please turn that volume up so you'll know when we're trying to call you. Okay? So make sure cell phones are on and volume's turned up. 6 a.m. When you're all done with this, you'll put it back in the pocket of side A because guess what? 16 hours later, we're going to go to side B, the red side, which I will talk about when we meet again in several days, okay?